Good afternoon to all of you. I am RANJIT Kumar Das, lecturer in Geography, BJBHS School, Bhubaneswar. Today, we will start and discuss about the human settlements. And first of all, we should have an idea about the settlement. What is the settlement? Now, settlement is the cluster of dwellings or cluster of houses of any type or any size where human beings live in. Without the existence of human beings in the cluster of houses, then that is not called settlement. When the people live in the cluster of houses, then that is called the settlement, human settlement. And a human settlement varies in size and type. It may be small and it may be sparsely spaced, and whereas in some cases the human settlements are large in size and closely spaced, and when it is small and sparsely spaced, it is called hamlet or village. When it is a large one and closely spaced, it is called the metropolitan cities. The sparsely located small settlements are called villages, hamlets or rural settlements, and mainly in the rural settlements are specialized in agriculture and other primary activities. On the other hand, the fewer settlements which are very large in size, those settlements are called urban settlements, and urban settlements are specialized in secondary activities and tertiary activities. Next. Then some of the features of the rural settlements. Rural settlements are small in size, and people are mainly dependent upon the primary economic activities, and in the rural settlement people are less mobile, and the social relations are very close and intimate. And rural settlements may be nucleated, fragmented, hamleted or dispersed. And so far as the urban settlements are concerned, urban settlements are large in size. People are mainly dependent upon manufacturing and other secondary and tertiary activities. And a way of life in the urban settlements is very complex and fast, and social relationships in urban settlements are formal. And urban settlements are of different types, like it may be town, it may be city, million city, conurbation and megalopolis. Next. Then some of the factors which affect the settlements. And what are those factors? First, different factors affect the settlement patterns, and for better understanding, those factors are classified under different heads. First one is your physical factors, and under the physical factors comes the topography or the nature of terrain. Next one is the altitude. What is altitude? That is the height above the mean sea level. Then the climate. What is climate? And it is the average weather condition of the last 35 years. And climate is different from weather, and weather is related to a specific place, that is the atmospheric condition of a particular place at a particular time. But climate is the average weather condition which is estimated by taking the average weather condition of the last 35 years. And climate is related to very broad area or a region. And second one is the availability of water or the source of water. If all these factors are available, then settlement will grow in those areas. These are the physical factors. Then come to the next factor, that is your cultural and ethnic factors. And under the cultural and ethnic factors, some elements like the social structure. What is the social structure? What is the male population, female population? These coming under the social structure. Next one is your caste. Next one is religion. These are the socio-ethnic factors which affect the settlement, rural settlement factors. Then the next factor is your security factors. Under the security factors comes the defense. What is the safety and security, and defense against the theft and robberies that influences the patterns of rural settlement in rural areas. Next. Then the rural settlements mainly derive their life support or basic economic needs from the land-based primary economic activities. And there are different types of rural settlements which are found in world, particularly in India. And what are those different forms of rural settlements which are found particularly in India and all over the world? And those types are, first one is your clustered or agglomerated or nucleated. First one. The second one is the semi-clustered or fragmented. And the third one is your dispersed or isolated. Next. First one is your clustered or nucleated or the agglomerated rural settlement. And so far as a clustered settlement, rural settlement is concerned, it is very compact, and houses in this settlement pattern are closely built up, and it is separated from the surrounding farms and pastures. That means the surrounding farms and pastures are not attached to the rural settlements. Then in rural settlements, the intervening streets present some recognizable patterns, geometrical patterns like radial patterns, lineal patterns, rectangular patterns, etc. These are the patterns which are found in rural settlements. That means these patterns are determined in accordance with the intervening streets which are present in the settlement. Then rural settlements are found, in the rural settlements are generally found in the alluvial plains and coastal areas. For example, in the northeastern states of India, the rural settlements are found, and broadly the rural settlements, clustered or nucleated or agglomerated rural settlements are found in the water scarcity area of Rajasthan, because water is life. Where water is available, the source of water is available, then people will prefer in the live in those areas, and that's why the settlement pattern will be clustered, nucleated or agglomerated. And similarly, the clustered settlements, rural settlements are found in Nagaland and Bundelkhand region. Next. Then the second type of rural settlement is semi-clustered or fragmented. And semi-clustered or fragmented rural settlements emerge from the segregation or fragmentation of a large compact village. When the large compact villages are broken or fragmented, then semi-clustered or fragmented rural settlements comes in. And in a semi-clustered fragmented rural settlement, the dominant communities, they occupy the central portion or central part. And the lower strata of the societies, that is your manual workers, they usually settle on the outer flanks of the village, that is away from the center of the village. And mostly the semi-clustered or fragmented rural settlements are found in the Gujarat plains and some parts of Rajasthan. This is about the semi-clustered or fragmented rural settlements. Then the third one is here hamleted settlements. And in case of hamleted settlements, rural settlements, the rural settlements are broken or fragmented into several units which are physically separated from each other and they bear a common name. And in hamleted rural settlements, the people are motivated by some social factors and ethnic factors. And hamleted rural settlements have different local names like Pana, Para, Palli, Nagla, Dani. These are the different names which are given to the hamleted settlements locally. Again, I am telling those terms, that is Pana, Para, Palli, Nagla, Dhani. And hamleted rural settlements are found in a middle and lower Ganga plain, Chhattisgarh, and a lower valley of the Himalayas. This is about the hamleted rural settlements. Next. Then another one, that is your dispersed or isolated settlement, rural settlements. And these dispersed or isolated rural settlements are found in the form of isolated horse or hamlets of a few horse in remote jungles, forests, or on the small hills with the farms or pastures on the slopes. And this is the dispersed or isolated rural settlements. And these isolated rural settlements are caused by the fragmented nature of the terrain or landscape and land resource base of habitable areas. And so far as the isolated rural settlements are concerned, it is found in the states of Meghalaya, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, and Kerala. Next. Then rural settlements have different patterns, and these patterns are on different bases. And the first basis is your function on the different patterns, that is on the basis of settings. Then rural settlements may be coastal village, may be plateau village, may be forest village, may be plain village, and it may be desert village. And these are the rural settlements which are on the basis of settings. What are the settings? If it is found in the coastal areas, then it is coastal village. If it is found in plateau areas, then plateau village. If it is found in jungle areas or forest areas, then forest village. If it is found in plain areas, then it is plain village. If it is available in desert areas, then it is called the desert village. It is one of the basis. On the basis of settings, then rural settlements are these. Rural settlements may be coastal village, plateau village, forest village, plain village, and a desert village. Next. Then on the basis of functions, rural settlements have different patterns, like your farming village, fisherman village, pastoral village, lumberjack village. That means in this type of village, the people are specialized, mainly perform a specialized functions. In a farming village, people are engaged in farming activities. Then in a fisherman village, people are engaged in fishing activities. In a pastoral village, people are engaged in pastoral activities. In a lumberjack village, people are engaged in felling up trees or cutting up trees. That is the lumberjack village. Next. Then on the basis of a shape, which is And the rural settlement have different patterns like your linear patterns, rectangular patterns, circular patterns, star-like patterns, T-shaped pattern, Y-shaped pattern, then cross-shaped pattern. And in case of a linear pattern, the settlements developed in a on the sides of a line, that is the linear pattern. If the settlement pattern is in the form of a rectangle, then that is a rectangular pattern. If settlements develop around a particular point, for example, where the water is available in water scarcity areas, that is the circular patterns. Then if that is in the form of a T, capital letter T, then that is the T-shaped pattern. These are the different patterns of the rural settlements so far on the basis of shape. Then the next one. Next one. In case of a star-shaped pattern, the space between the rural roads gets filled and it gives rise to the star-shaped settlements. In case of a T-shaped pattern, settlement developed at a tri-junction of the road. In case of a Y-shaped pattern, the settlements develop in places where two roads converge on the third road. And in case of a cross-shaped pattern, the settlements developed in the crossroads and houses extend in all the four directions. This is about the different patterns of rural settlements which are on the basis of shapes. Then rural settlements faces different problems all over the world. What are those problems? And first problem is here lack of infrastructures. And infrastructures play very important role in the development of a societies. And in case of a rural settlement, those infrastructures like road connectivity, railway connectivity, these are not found. Similarly, electrical infrastructures are not sufficiently available. That is one of the problems of rural settlements. Then another problem is inadequate supply of water. And inadequate supply of water, that is safe drinking water, and potable water, drinking water, that is not sufficiently available in a rural settlements area. It is one of the problems. Another problem is the absence of garbage disposal facilities. That means different garbage which are not properly disposed in the rural areas. That is one of the problems of rural settlement. And different diseases which people suffer from, that is due to the water. That is called the waterborne diseases, and those waterborne diseases is one of the problems of rural settlements. Another problem is the emergency services, provision of lack of provision of emergency services like your healthcare facilities and internet. These are the emergency services. These are not sufficiently and adequately available in the rural settlement areas. And on metal roads, the lack of a modern communication network, that is not properly and sufficiently available in the rural settlement areas. These are the basic problems of the rural settlements. Next. And next we will switch over to the urban settlement. What is urban settlement? The settlements which are found in urban areas, that is called the urban settlements. The urban area means that may be town, may be city, may be metropolitan cities, may be megalopolis, maybe conurbation. These are the different forms of urban settlement so far as a different basis size is concerned. And urban settlements are usually compact and large in size as compared to the rural settlement. And people in the urban settlements are mainly engaged in non-agricultural activities, and people are engaged in administrative functions. And cities in the urban settlements are functionally linked with the rural areas around them. That means cities are functionally linked to the rural settlements, and the exchange of goods and services is performed sometimes through a series of markets, towns and cities. That means the finished products from the urban settlements are carried to the rural areas to satisfy the various needs of the rural people. Similarly, various vegetables and other agricultural products are supplied to the urban areas so as to satisfy the needs of the urban peoples. And cities are connected directly as well as indirectly with the villages and also with each other. These are the urban settlements. And so far as urban settlements are concerned, it has evolved in different ways. And mainly the urban settlements or the towns developed since the prehistoric times in India, and at the time of Indus Valley civilization, various towns were found, that is your Harappa, Mohenjo-daro. These are the towns which were available in the Indus Valley civilization. Next. Then on the basis of evolution in different periods, the towns, particularly the Indian towns, are classified into three categories. First one is your ancient town, second one is your medieval town, and third one is your modern towns. And what is the ancient towns? And the number of ancient towns having historical background spanning over 2000 years, and mainly the ancient towns developed as a religious and cultural centers. Examples of ancient towns are Varanasi, Prayag, which is called the Allahabad, which is in the state of Uttar Pradesh, then Pataliputra, the modern name is Patna, which is the capital of Bihar, then Madurai, another place in Tamil Nadu. These are the examples of the ancient towns. Again, I am telling the examples: Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, Prayag or Allahabad, then Pataliputra or Patna, then Madurai. This is about the ancient towns. Then the medieval towns. The medieval towns, around 100 of the medieval towns have their roots in the medieval periods, and mostly the medieval towns developed as the headquarters of principalities or kingdoms. That is during the governance of the various kings. Then these headquarters developed, that is the medieval towns, and there are fort towns which come up on the ruins of the ancient towns. Examples: the Delhi, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Lucknow, Agra, Nagpur. These are the examples of medieval towns. Then the next town is your modern towns, and the Britishers and other Europeans, they developed a number of towns in India, and they first developed some trading ports like Surat in Gujarat, Daman, Goa, Pondicherry. These were developed by the Britishers and the Europeans, and these towns developed as a trading ports, that is Surat, Daman, Goa and Pondicherry. And later the Europeans and Britishers, they consolidated their hold around three principal centers or nodes. One is your Mumbai, which is also called Bombay, then Chennai, Madras, Kolkata. And new administrative and civil military areas were added subsequently. Towns based on modern industries also developed, that is your Jamshedpur. Then some administrative centers or administrative headquarters also, that is the center of administration of either of the union or of the various states, like the Chandigarh, the headquarter of Haryana, then Chandigarh itself, then Bhubaneswar, the administrative headquarter and capital of Odisha, then Gandhinagar, the administrative headquarter of Gujarat. Then some industrial centers, they developed at modern towns due to the industrial activities. After the second plan period, then some integrated steel plants developed in India, that is one is at Durgapur in the state of West Bengal, then another one is Bhilai in the state of Madhya Pradesh, then Sindri in the state of Jharkhand, then Barauni in the state of Bihar. Then some satellite towns which are developed subsequently at different places of India, like Ghaziabad, Rohtak, Gurgaon and Delhi. These are the satellite towns. And what is the satellite towns? And the concept satellite towns is a town which is away from the main towns, and that is linked with the main towns, but all the civic amenities are available in those areas. That means the people will not prefer to the congested areas, they will live in the remote areas, the areas away from the main center, and all the civic amenities will be available in those places, and a main town and the area which is away from 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, even 50 kilometers away from the main towns, that will be connected by proper road connectivity, rail connectivity, that is called the satellite towns. These are the satellite towns: Ghaziabad, Rohtak, Gurgaon, Delhi. These are the satellite towns which coming out of the modern towns. Next. Then urbanization, and urbanization is a process through which the urban areas expand or urban areas grow. That is the urbanization, and urbanization is measured in terms of a percentage. And so far as the urbanization is concerned, India has a 31.6% urbanization by the census year 2011. And in case of urbanization, the urban centers enlarge, and different towns, new towns, they emerge, and they play a significant role in the growth of the urban population and urbanization in countries. That is about the urbanization, and urbanization is a process in which the urban areas expand and the urban people grows, and the area of the urban region also grows. Urbanization, though so far as the urbanization is concerned, that is the 31.6% urbanization in India as per the census year 2011. Next. Then urban settlements can be classified into different bases, and one of the bases is population size. What is the size of the population? On the basis of a size of the population, then urban settlements can be classified into 6 categories. First one is the class 1 town, where the urban the number of the urban people is more than 1 lakh or more than 1 lakh. That is that is 10 lakh, more than 10 lakh. 1 lakh or more than 1 lakh. That is the town. And second one is the second category of urban settlement where the population is in between 50,000 and 90,000, 99,999. Then the third category, that is the urban settlements where the number of urban people is in between 20,000 to 49,999. Then the fourth category where the urban population is in between 10,000 to 19,999. Then the fifth category where the urban population is in between 5,000 to 9,999. And the last category, that is less than 5,000. And when the population, urban population is more than 1 lakh, then that is called a city or the class 1 town. When the urban population is in between 1 to 5 million, then that is called the metropolitan cities. When the urban population is more than 5 million, that is called the mega cities. And when the majority of the metropolitan and mega cities are connected with each other, then that is called the urban agglomeration. That means one mega cities and around the mega cities, small cities are there, and small cities and mega cities will be connected with each other. Then the number of population will be very high. Then that is called the urban agglomeration. In short, it is called UA, urban agglomeration. And an urban agglomeration may consist of any of the following combinations. It may be town and its adjoining urban outgrowths, two or more contiguous towns, or without their outgrowth, a city and one or more adjoining towns with their outgrowths together forming contiguous space, and more than the 60% of the urban population live in class 1 towns. And out of the 468 cities, 53 cities or urban agglomerations are metropolitan cities, and out of this, that 6 of them are mega cities with population more than 5 millions, and more than 1/5, that is 21% of the urban population live in the mega cities. For example, the Greater Mumbai is the largest urban agglomeration with the 18.4 million people, and Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad, these are the other mega cities. And on the basis of different functions which the towns perform, there are different urban settlements. And one thing, that is a specific town does not perform a specific functions, rather it performs various functions, but it is specialized in a specific function. On the basis of that, then the towns or the urban settlements can be classified into different categories. The first one is the administrative towns, and in case of administrative towns, that is the headquarter of administration of a higher order. Administration is going on at a different orders, like at a block level, block administration, district level, district administration, state level, that is state administration, and central level, that is central administration. And if the administration takes place at the capital of a state, then that is the administrative headquarters. And if that type of a town is called the administrative town or a city. For example, the Bhubaneswar is the administrative headquarter of the state of Odisha, and that's why the Bhubaneswar is a administrative town. And similarly, the Chandigarh, which is the center of administration for Chandigarh itself and Haryana, and that is the administrative town. Then the next one is the New Delhi, which is the administrative headquarters of the entire India, that is the administrative town. And Meghalaya, the Shillong, the capital of the Meghalaya, that is the administrative town. Then Bhopal, which is the capital of Madhya Pradesh, that is also administrative town. Then Guwahati, the capital of Assam, that is the administrative town. Then Srinagar, the capital of Jammu and Kashmir, that is the administrative town. Then Imphal, that is the capital of Manipur, that is also administrative town. Then Gandhinagar, the capital of Gujarat, that is administrative town. Then Chennai, the capital of Tamil Nadu, that is also administrative town. Then industrial towns. Some towns have developed due to the industrial activities, and many types of industries, particularly large scale industries, are found in those places, that is converted into the industrial towns. The industrial activities constitute the motive force of these towns. For example, the Raulkela, the industrial town where Raulkela steel plant is found. Not only Raulkela steel plant, but also associated plants are found. Similarly, here Bokaro, Jamshedpur, then Bhilai, then Salem, then Barauni. These are the centers of industrial activities, mainly the iron and steel industries, and these iron and steel industries are regulated by one body, that is called the Steel Authority of India Limited. And since these towns are famous for the industrial activities, it is called the industrial towns. And the next category of city or urban settlement, that is your transport towns. And in case of transport towns or transport urban settlements, the people are mainly engaged in export and import activities. Mainly these cities or towns are famous for the ports. For example, Kandla, Kochi, Kozhikode, Visakhapatnam. These are found in different states like Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Kandla in Gujarat, Kochi in Kerala, Kozhikode in Kerala. These are the transport cities, and this is famous for their transport activities like export and import activities. And some of the towns which are the center of the inland transport. Inland transport means when the transportation takes place through the river water, that is called the inland transport. For example, the Agra, Dhulia, Mughal Sarai, Itarsi, Katni, these are the centers of the inland transport, and that's why it is a transport city. Then commercial towns, and sometimes the towns are specialized in some activities like trade and commerce. And when the trade and commerce is the dominant function of those towns, then that is commercial towns. For example, Kolkata, Satna, Saharanpur, these are the examples of the commercial towns so far as the India is concerned, Indian urban settlement is concerned. Then some towns are called the mining towns, and the mining activities, which is a primary activities, that is the main activities, main function of these towns, and these towns have developed in mineral rich areas, either iron ore or aluminum or manganese, any types of minerals which are available in those areas, and towns developed in those areas, that is called the mining towns. For example, the Raniganj, Dharia, Digboi, Ankaleshwar, Singaruli, these are the different places in India where mining activities of different minerals takes place, and that has been developed as a mining towns. Then the next category is your garrison or cantonment towns, and these towns developed or emerged as a garrison towns, that is the fort sounds. For example, the Amla, Jalandhar, Babina, Udhampur, these are the garrison or cantonment towns. Then academic towns or educational towns, and some towns or urban settlements have developed at the centers of education, and this is famous for the educational activities, academic activities like Roorkee, then Varanasi, Aligarh, Pilani, Allahabad. These are the places in India which are famous for the academic activities or educational activities which has been which have emerged as educational towns. Then the next category is the religious and cultural towns, and some towns or urban settlements are specialized in religious activities or the recreational activities. For example, the Varanasi, Mathura, Amritsar, and Puri, which is located in Odisha and one of the four dhams, and Ajmer, Pushkar, Tirupati, Kurukshetra, Haridwar, Ujjain. These places are known for their religious and cultural significance, and that's why it is a religious or cultural town. Then the next category of urban settlement is a tourist town, and in case of tourist towns, that is famous for the tourism. That means tourists from different parts of India, even abroad, they come to that place. That is famous for the tourist famous for the tourist activities, and developed as a tourist town. For example, the Nainital, Mussoorie, Shimla, Panchamari, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, then Uti, Mount Abu. These are the different places and different destinations which are famous for the tourist activities. Then these are the different urban settlements which is on the basis of functions. That means a particular town performs different functions, but that is famous or known for a particular functions. And these are the different types of urban settlement. So far as a function is concerned, that is called the functional classification of urban settlement or towns. Then one is your another concept, that is smart city mission. And the smart city mission is a concept, and the very purpose of a smart city mission is to promote cities that will provide the core infrastructure and the clean and green environment. Clean and green environment, and give a decent quality of life to its citizens. That is the very purpose of a smart city mission. And another feature of the smart city mission is to provide smart solution to the infrastructures and services in order to make them better. That means there must be different problems in the urban areas, and those problems will be sorted out in a smart manner. That is smart solution to the problems which are found in urban areas. For example, making areas less vulnerable to the disasters, and we have to use fewer resources, and we will provide the cheap services, medical health care services, then educational services. These services will be provided at a cheaper rate. Then we will use less resources, and we have to be less vulnerable to different natural calamities and disasters. Then the focus is on the sustainable and inclusive development, and the idea is to look at the compact areas, create a replicable model. Then smart city mission, under the smart city mission in our state Odisha, Bhubaneswar, smart city Bhubaneswar has been ranked 4th among the top livable capital cities in our country after Bangalore, which is the capital of Karnataka, then Chennai, the capital of Tamil Nadu, then Shimla, which is in the state of Himachal Pradesh. And the cities are not static and in their function. Under the smart city mission, the cities, the functions are not static, rather that is dynamic and changeable, and the functions change due to the dynamic nature of the cities. Then even the cities are specialized cities, they grow into the metropolis, become the multinational functions wherein industry, business, administration, transport become important. Even if a city is specialized in a specific functions, but it performs different functions like the industrial functions, then trade, commerce activities, administration, transportation, these are the important. Then the functions get so intertwined that the city cannot be categorized in a particular functional classes. That means even if a town or a city is specialized in a specific function, that doesn't mean it doesn't perform any other functions. And that's why the functional classification of a city is for our better understanding, for a better knowledge. But all the cities, all the towns, they perform various functions, but specialized in a particular field. Thank you all.